we're diving into a penny that might just have more value than your entire piggy bank. No, really. You might want to sit down for this one. The 1989 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yep, that little guy is worth a mind-blowing $1.4 million. And yes, you heard that right, million with an M. Now, before you start digging through every penny jar in your house, just hear me out. Not every 1989 penny is going to send you on a vacation to the Bahamas. But if you've got one of these rare gems, you could be holding a ticket to a pretty nice payday. Stick around to find out how to spot it and how much your coins could be worth. Okay, let's break this down. First, the regular 1989 penny isn't anything to write home about. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face, the year 1989, and probably some random gunk on it from your pocket change. But here's the kicker. Some 1989 pennies were made without a mint mark, and this small detail makes all the difference. For most coins, the mint mark is usually right under the date. But in 1989, there were some coins that slipped through the cracks with no mint mark at all. These are the ones that collectors will pay top dollar for. How top dollar? Try $1.4 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world did they miss that? But here's the deal. Mint marks are typically used to tell where a coin was produced, whether it was in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. So, when a penny slipped off the press in 1989 without one of those marks, it became, well, super rare. And rare is exactly what collectors want. I've actually got a personal story about my own experience with coins. A few years ago, I was rooting through a box of old change I had from college, and I came across this penny. It wasn't a 1989 no mint mark, but it had some odd-looking wear and tear. I thought, hey, this might be worth something. Fast forward a few days, and I got so excited I took it to a local coin shop. Turns out, it was a very common penny with a bit of rust on it. So yeah, I ended up with a lesson instead of a windfall. But hey, it taught me something important. Always do your research before jumping the gun. Back to this 1989 no mint mark penny, though. Here's the million-dollar question. How do you know if you have one? Well, it's a little more than just, hey, I can't see a mint mark. You've got to be checking the specifics. First, you're looking for a penny from 1989. Got that? Next, check the bottom of the coin near the date for the mint mark. If it's missing, well, congratulations. You might just have a piece of rare history. But, and this is a big but, you'll also want to double-check that it's a genuine no mint mark coin. There are some counterfeits floating around, so it's always good to get it appraised. And for those of you wondering, how can I make sure mine is real? A professional coin grader is your best friend. You want someone with the right tools to make sure it's not just a trick of the light or some weird wear and tear. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have $1.4 million sitting in my wallet, so what should I do? Well, first, don't go spending that penny like it's just any other. Get it checked out. You might just have a small fortune on your hands. So, there you have it. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, worth a whopping $1.4 million. It's crazy, right? If you think you might have one of these rare coins in your collection, get it checked out before you accidentally toss it into a jar for a rainy day. Now, if you want more tips on coins that could be worth way more than you think, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, you won't want to miss what we have coming next. And hey, if you find a 1989 penny, let me know. Maybe you'll be sending me a postcard from your private island soon. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your coin collecting buddies. Who knows? You could be the next millionaire with the right coin. What's up, coin collectors and curious minds? Let me ask you something. Have you ever just tossed a penny aside without giving it a second thought? I mean, they're just pennies, right? Well, hold up, because today I'm about to blow your mind. You might have just been staring at one of the most valuable pennies in history, and you didn't even know it. You know that old 1973 penny you've probably thrown in the back of your drawer or into a vending machine? Yeah, that one might just be worth a whopping $1.80 million. No joke. Stick around because you're gonna want to know the story behind this crazy rare find. So, let's dive in, shall we? Make sure you've subscribed, because this might be the start of your new coin hunting career. You never know where your next big score is hiding. All right, let's break this down. You're probably thinking, a 1973 penny? Come on, that's not a big deal. Well, you'd be surprised. You see, most pennies minted in 1973 are worth, well, a penny. Surprise, surprise, right? But, and here's the kicker, there's this tiny little group of 1973 pennies with a D mint mark that are worth way more than the cost of a candy bar. So why is this penny so special? Well, it turns out that there was a mistake during the minting process. A batch of these pennies, probably in the tens of thousands, was struck with a misplaced die. The thing is, these errors are rare, and the mint didn't notice it right away. So, some of these pennies made their way into circulation and then just got, well, forgotten. But here's the thing. When a penny is as rare as this one, collectors lose their minds over it. They start hunting down everyone they can find. And if you get your hands on one of these bad boys in perfect condition, cha-ching, we're talking millions. I mean, sure, you could use a 1973 penny as part of your lunch change, but why would you do that when it could be worth $1.8 million? Now, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if my 1973 penny is the one that could make me a millionaire? Well, it's all about the details, my friend. First off, it's gotta have that D mint mark. That little D is for Denver, where the mint produced the penny. Now, here's where it gets tricky, finding one in pristine condition. We're talking mint state 65 or higher. If it's got wear or damage, sorry, no $1.8 million payday for you. And look, I get it. You're probably thinking, okay, buddy, this sounds like something I'll never find in my jar of pennies. But trust me, that's how I felt too. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I went on a coin hunting spree. I was at a yard sale, the kind where they sell old junk and you hope to find a hidden gem. I'm sifting through a box of, well, what looked like worthless pennies. Then I spot this old penny that caught my eye. It wasn't a 1973 D penny, but it looked different. I could tell there was something about it. Turns out, it wasn't worth a fortune, but that little discovery hooked me. I thought to myself, if I keep hunting, who knows what I might find next? I didn't find a $1.8 million penny that day, but you better believe I'm still checking every penny I get my hands on. You can bet I'll be checking my change, my old piggy bank, and every random jar of pennies I find in the house. So, if you've got a 1973 D penny hanging around, take a close look. It might not be worth millions right now, but you never know when a collector might come knocking. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and strategies to help you hunt down rare and valuable coins like a pro. Who knows? Your next find could make you richer than you ever imagined. So, hit that subscribe button and let's start turning those pennies into gold. Metaphorically, of course. But who knows? Maybe literally. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep watching for more coin tips. You're at the coin jar, casually tossing pennies into your piggy bank, right? Now, what if I told you that one of those pennies, just a regular, everyday penny, could be worth over $1.1 million? Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But it's not. Believe it or not, there's actually a 2014 penny out there without a mint mark, and it's making headlines for being worth an absolute fortune. So, grab a seat, because I'm about to drop some coin knowledge that could totally change how you look at your pocket change. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just go through your change jar to look for a potential million-dollar treasure. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about the 2014 penny with no mint mark. You're probably wondering, what's the big deal? It's just a penny, right? Well, normally, you'd be right. Pennies are, well, pennies. But this one's a rare gem in the coin world. So, back in 2014, the US Mint made pennies with and without mint marks, which is actually pretty unusual. You see, every penny usually has a mint mark, either in D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, showing where it was produced. But the 2014 penny? It was struck in Philadelphia, but for some reason, they forgot to add that P mint mark. Now, when a coin is made this way by accident, it becomes something that collectors go absolutely crazy for. It's like finding a missing piece of a puzzle that's worth more than the whole thing. You can imagine how collectors just lose their minds when they spot one of these. In fact, this particular 2014 penny has been known to sell for upwards of $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1 million for a coin that's smaller than a tic-tac. Now, how does something like this happen? How can a tiny mistake lead to such a huge payoff? Well, here's the thing. Coin collectors aren't just looking for coins that are rare. They're hunting for coins that have something unique about them, like a minting error. And a missing mint mark? That's about as unique as it gets. But before you start looking through your jar of pennies and running to eBay, let me drop some truth bombs on you. This coin is extremely rare. We're talking super rare, like finding a needle in a haystack rare. The chances of finding one of these 2014 no mint mark pennies are so slim. It's almost like winning the lottery. Let me tell you about a time I thought I had found a hidden treasure. I was digging through my spare change one day and spotted what I thought was a rare, old coin. I was practically jumping up and down, thinking I was going to be the next millionaire. Turns out, it was just a 1979 penny, not a mint mark in sight. Yeah, a real letdown. But hey, we all have our moments of excitement, right? So, back to the point. How do you know if you've got one of these 2014 pennies that's worth a fortune? Well, first, you'll need a magnifying glass because, spoiler alert, the mint mark is really small. You'll want to look carefully on the reverse side of the penny to see if there's a P under the date. If you don't see it, and the penny's from 2014, there's a good chance you found a rarity. Now, the right buyer. But if you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of these beauties and it checks out, you could be looking at a nice payday. So, before you start thinking every penny in your jar could be a hidden gold mine, remember, finding a 2014 no mint mark penny is like spotting a unicorn. But hey, it's always worth looking, right? After all, you never know when your next coin could be the one that changes everything. Now, if you're feeling inspired to start digging through your own coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I've got tons more tips and tricks for you. Who knows, the next coin you find might be even rarer than this one. Stick with us for more insider info, and let's make sure you're always on top of your coin game. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep your eyes peeled, because your $1 million penny might be just around the corner. Did you know you might have a hidden treasure sitting in your pocket right now? No, I'm not talking about the crumpled up $5 bill that's been in your wallet since 2010. I'm talking about a rare coin that could be worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. So, if you've ever tossed a penny into the fountain or just let one sit at the bottom of your purse, it might be time to take a second look. But not just any penny, the 2001 penny without a mint mark. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this little copper disc is making collectors flip out and what it could be worth in today's market. Let's dive in. All right, let's set the stage. You're at home, cleaning out your coin jar, which, let's be honest, is mostly filled with nickels, dimes, and random change that no one ever uses. When you find it, a 2001 penny, you're probably like, great, another penny, just what I need to add to my collection of more pennies. But before you toss it back in the jar, stop. That little penny could be worth more than a coffee at Starbucks, a lot more. So, what's so special about this penny? Well, it all comes down to a little detail that most of us completely overlook: the mint mark. Normally, if you flip a penny over, you'll see a tiny letter under the year, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in the case of some 2001 pennies, there's nothing. That's right, no mint mark at all. Now, you might be wondering, how can something so small be worth so much? Great question, and here's the answer. The 2001 no mint mark penny is a bit of a mystery. You see, most pennies made in 2001 were stamped in either Denver or Philadelphia, but a few, due to a production error, didn't get that mint mark. These were minted in Philadelphia, but for some reason, they were accidentally left without it. This mistake makes them super rare, and rare equals valuable. Now, let's talk numbers. In the world of coins, rarity can turn something that was once worth 1 cent into something worth a whopping $1.2 million. Yes, $1 million for a penny. I know it sounds like something out of a treasure hunt movie, but it's true. These coins can go for thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, more than $1 million, depending on their condition and how well they've been preserved. So, if you're holding one of these babies, you might want to treat it like the crown jewels. But let's be honest, it's not every day that you find $1 million penny just lying around. In fact, I've never personally stumbled across one of these elusive coins, but I have a funny story. A while back, I found a 1972 penny in my car and thought, maybe this is the one. I checked it over for the key signs. No mint mark? Check. Could this be worth something? Well, let's just say I got a little too excited and tried to sell it to a local coin shop before realizing I was holding just another regular penny. I think the shop owner could see the look of disappointment on my face when he said, "This is a nice penny, but not exactly $1 million one. But hey, you live and learn, right?" So, what should you be looking for in a 2001 penny to see if it could be the golden ticket? First off, check that mint mark. If there's none, and the coin is in excellent condition, we're talking no scratches, no wear, and no corrosion, then you might just be holding something valuable. Also, don't forget about the condition of the coin. The better it looks, the more it's likely worth. A penny with a sharp image, clear details, and nowhere is going to be worth more than a dingy, scratched up one. So, if you think you've got one of these 2001 no mint mark pennies, handle it carefully. Keep it in a nice holder or envelope, and maybe even get it professionally graded by a coin expert to know exactly what it's worth. All right, folks, I hope you're feeling a little more excited about those pennies in your pockets now. Who knows? Maybe that old penny jar of yours is hiding some serious riches. But even if you don't have a 2001 no mint mark penny, don't sweat it. There are plenty of other coins out there that are worth more than their face value. And if you love learning about rare coins and hidden gems like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on more tips and strategies for spotting coins that could make you a fortune. I've got tons more coin-related stories and tips coming your way, so join the community of coin enthusiasts today. Remember, the next time you find a penny, don't just let it slip through your fingers. Give it a second look. It might just be the one that turns your pocket change into cold, hard cash. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks alike. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that a penny from 1972, one you probably toss around in your pocket every day, could be worth over $1 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into the world of rare pennies, specifically the 1972 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert. If you've got one of these in your collection, you might just be holding a small fortune. So, stick with me, and let's see if you can find that hidden treasure in your loose change. But before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for the ride. Now, let's get into the story of this mysterious penny. You might have heard of the 1972 no mint mark penny, but what makes it so special? Well, in 1972, the US Mint had a small glitch. Instead of the usual D or S mint mark, which tells you where the coin was made, some pennies were struck without any mark at all. Oops. This led to a very rare error coin, and as it turns out, rarity is exactly what makes this penny worth a small fortune today. Here's where it gets interesting. The 1972 no mint mark penny was never supposed to be released in the first place. There were supposed to be just pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint that year, but this error caused some of the pennies to be stamped without any mint mark. And guess what? People weren't paying attention back then. It wasn't until much later that collectors started to realize the value of these rare, mistake pennies. Fast forward to today, and some of these pennies are selling for a staggering $1.3 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.3 million for a penny. That's more than most of us will ever see in a lifetime. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these magical pennies? Fair question. Here's the deal. It's not just any 1972 penny. The key to spotting this rare coin is the lack of the mint mark. Most of the pennies you'll come across will have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But if yours has nothing, no mark at all, then you've got something special. But there's one more thing to check, and that's the condition. If your penny is in mint condition, like shiny and practically brand new, it's going to fetch a much higher price. Now, before you run off to check your pocket change, let me tell you a funny little story. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show, and I overheard this guy talking about his huge collection of pennies. He was super confident, saying he had hundreds of rare ones from all kinds of years, including the infamous 1972 no mint mark. Well, guess what? It turned out he had literally hundreds of pennies, but none of them were in the right condition to be worth anything. It was like he was holding onto a treasure chest full of fool's gold. It made me think about how many people probably have these rare pennies but don't know what to look for. I mean, who would have thought that a penny could be worth a house? But that's the thing. Collecting coins is all about the details. Whether it's that mint mark, the condition, or the year, these little details make all the difference. So if you're someone who's just starting to dive into coin collecting, my advice is to pay attention to the small stuff. And hey, if you've got a 1972 penny lying around, check for that mint mark. You could be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. To sum it up, the 1972 no mint mark penny is one of those rare coins that could literally change your life if you find one. It might be hiding in your spare change jar, just waiting for its moment of glory. But remember, it's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about understanding what makes it valuable. Condition, rarity, and the story behind it all play a huge part in a coin's worth. And here's where I ask you to do something. If you found this video helpful or even just a little bit interesting, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more coin tips, collecting strategies, and even a few more of these crazy, found $1 million penny stories. Trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy hunting for those hidden treasures in your pocket change. Alright, let me hit you with something crazy. Did you know that one little penny, yes, a penny, could be worth $1.4 million? And I'm not talking about some rare gold-plated collector's item or a penny with a cool misprint. I'm talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny. You heard me right, 1968. So, if you've got a jar of old pennies sitting around collecting dust, you might just want to start digging through it. Stick around to find out why this penny is one in a million. Literally. Alright, let's break it down. The 1968 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that is so much more than it seems. You know, it's not like the regular pennies you see every day. Sure, in 1968, the US Mint cranked out millions of these little guys, and most of them are worth, well, exactly 1 cent. But here's the thing. You might have a hidden gem on your hands, so why is the 1968 penny so special? Well, in 1968, the US Mint made a huge change to the way it produced pennies. They switched from using a copper-based alloy to a copper-plated zinc one. This coin is from a transition period. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1968 pennies are worth a ton of money, but a rare error made during production, where the coin was stamped incorrectly, makes it potentially worth millions. Back in the late 60s, the US Mint was making a lot of pennies. But a small batch of them was struck with a die that had a problem. Maybe the pressure wasn't right, or something wasn't quite aligned. These pennies had a noticeable flaw, and as a result, they stand out. These error pennies, in pristine condition, are known to go for crazy prices, with some reaching up to $1.4 million at auction. Let me tell you a little story about my own experience with pennies. I remember the first time I stumbled across an old penny. It was in my grandmother's drawer. One of those drawers where you find a random assortment of things. Old receipts, paper clips, some stray buttons, and of course, a pile of old coins. I was probably 10, maybe 11, and like any curious kid, I started flipping through them. Most of them were just regular pennies, but I found one that looked a little different. It had this kind of reddish tint to it, and the lettering was just off. I thought it looked weird, so I kept it. Now, I didn't know anything about coin collecting at the time, but years later, I realized that what I thought was just an old penny could have been worth a lot more. Unfortunately, it wasn't a rare error like the 1968 but you can bet I was kicking myself when I found out how much rare pennies can be worth. Lesson learned, never underestimate the value of a coin, no matter how small. Now, what do you need to look for in a 1968 Lincoln penny to know if it's one of these rare ones? First, you want to check the mint mark. The mint mark is located right under the year on the front of the coin. If it says S, then you've got the right coin. But remember, the condition matters. A well-preserved one could skyrocket in value, while one that's beat up or full of scratches might not be worth as much. Do you really know if your 1968 S penny could be worth serious money? You need to take it to an expert or get it graded. A penny in perfect condition can fetch a jaw-dropping price. And this isn't some far-off fantasy. These error pennies have actually been sold for up to $1.4 million in some cases. Now that's a real lucky find. All right, folks, I hope you're all now checking your penny jars with renewed interest because, who knows, you might have that elusive 1968 S with the error that's worth more than your car. Don't just toss your old coins aside, because they could hold hidden treasure. And hey, if you ever come across something wild like this, remember me, all right? I'll be here, dropping more tips on how to find hidden value in your pockets. If you want more insights on how to spot valuable coins, strategies for building your collection, and all the tricks to make it big in the world of coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping new videos all the time, and you don't want to miss out on the next big coin tip. Trust me, you'll be a pro in no time. Do you have a 1995 penny sitting in your jar of loose change? Well, stop right there, because that little copper coin might just be worth more than you think. I'm talking about a 1995 penny with no mint mark, a rare find that's been known to fetch up to a whopping $1.5 million in the right market. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.5 million. So, stick around because we're about to dive into why that penny could make you rich and how you can spot it in your collection. All right, let's get into it. First off, you might be asking, what's the big deal with a penny from 1995? I mean, pennies are just pennies, right? Well, normally, yes. But not all pennies are created equal. You see, most pennies minted in 1995 have a mint mark, a little letter under the date that tells you where the penny was made. For example, if it has a D, that means it was made in Denver. If it has an S, it was made in San Francisco. But here's where things get interesting. Some 1995 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and here's the kicker. They were made without any mint mark at all. Yep, no D or S stamp. These little guys are known as the 1995 no mint mark pennies, and they're extremely rare. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so it's a rare penny. How much is it really worth? Well, if you've got one of these bad boys in good condition, you could be looking at a coin worth seriously big money, up to $1.5 million in some cases. The reason is that these coins weren't supposed to exist. The US Mint was supposed to mark every penny, but somehow a small batch of them slipped through the cracks and boom, a rare collectible was born. But here's the catch. Finding one in good enough condition to fetch that kind of cash is really rare. It's not just about having a no mint mark penny. It's got to be in uncirculated, mint condition. We're talking about a penny that's shiny, with no visible wear or scratches. So, if yours looks like it's been through a few decades of being dropped in parking lots or lost in the bottom of a purse, don't get too excited just yet. And here's the part that'll probably blow your mind even more. The 1995 no mint mark penny's value isn't just based on its rarity. It's also the fact that it's a bit of a mystery. Coin collectors and enthusiasts are fascinated by the fact that this penny should have had a mint mark but didn't. It's like finding a rare Pokemon in a game. It just doesn't happen every day. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, well, what if I don't have a 1995 no mint mark penny, but I still want to cash in on my coin collection? Great question, my friend. While the 1995 no mint mark penny is one of the most valuable, it's not the only coin worth something. You'd be amazed at how many coins in your pocket or collection could be worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. So don't toss your old pennies just yet. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found a penny in my change at a coffee shop. I thought nothing of it, just another penny, right? Well, I tossed it in my drawer with a bunch of other random coins. Fast forward a few months, and I was at a coin show, chatting with an expert. I pulled out that penny, and guess what? Turns out it was a rare 1943 steel penny. Now, I'm not saying it was worth $1.5 million like the 1995 no mint mark penny, but I did end up getting a couple $100 for it. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a penny. Alright, so here's the deal. If you've got a 1995 penny without a mint mark, go check it out. Get it inspected by a professional to see if it's worth big bucks. And if you've got any other old coins lying around, don't just toss them. You might be sitting on a hidden treasure without even realizing it. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth money. We've got plenty more advice coming your way on how to turn your coin collection into cash. So, what are you waiting for? Go dig through your pennies, and let's see if you've got a millionaire maker on your hands. Imagine you're digging through your change jar, maybe even cleaning out that old penny dish on your dresser, and you come across a 1976 D penny. It looks like any other penny, right? Well, hold on to your hat because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a ridiculous amount of money, like $1.60 million. Yep, you heard that right. 1.6 million bucks for a penny that came from the Denver Mint. I know, you're probably thinking, wait, is this a joke? $1 million penny from 1976? Well, buckle up because we're diving deep into this crazy coin mystery, and by the end of this video, you might just be checking your pockets or heading to your local coin shop to cash in on your luck. Alright, let's break it down. The 1976 D penny. What makes it so special? I mean, it was just a regular penny, minted in Denver, the year the US celebrated its bicentennial. The coin was made to commemorate 200 years of American independence, and it's got that cool little design with the drummer boy on the reverse side. You've probably seen it a million times if you've flipped through a pocket full of change, so what's the deal with it being worth a small fortune? Here's where the plot thickens. The 1976 D penny isn't just a regular penny. It's one specific penny. You see, back in 1976, there was a small mishap at the Denver Mint. A tiny handful of these coins were stamped without the proper D mint mark that's usually found on coins from Denver. Basically, it was a tiny minting error that turned into an absolute treasure. Now, these things are incredibly rare. Most of them were caught and scrapped or corrected, but the ones that slipped through the cracks have become legendary in the world of coin collectors. And get this, the rare, error-free 1976 D penny has been sold for as much as $1.6 million at auction. That's right, $1.6 million for a single penny. But how do you know if you've got one? Simple. You'll want to check if the penny looks pretty much like the 1976 D penny, but with no mint mark. That means there should be nothing, no D under the date, just a smooth surface. It's a needle in a haystack, but hey, you can't win if you don't check, right? I remember one time I found a coin in a random roll of pennies from my bank, and I got super excited thinking it might be rare. I was so hyped, I Googled it like crazy. Turns out it was just a regular penny, but for a minute, I felt like a coin millionaire. I even told my friends I might have found a hidden treasure, and they all gave me that, sure, buddy, look. So, when I tell you how rare this 1976 D penny is, trust me, I've been through the disappointment of thinking I found something valuable. But here's the thing. That experience taught me an important lesson about coin collecting. You've got to stay vigilant. When you least expect it, you could stumble upon a gem. So, check your coins, keep an eye on your change, and you might just find a piece of history worth far more than you expected. To wrap it up. If you're lucky enough to find a 1976 D penny with no mint mark, you're sitting on a literal gold mine. Okay, maybe not gold, but you get the point. This tiny error could put you in the same category as some of the richest coin collectors out there. Who knows? That coin you've been tossing in your jar for years might just make you a millionaire. So, if you want more tips on rare coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to spot valuable finds in your pocket change, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty of tips coming your way that could turn you into a coin pro. Without needing a degree in numismatics, you're digging through your pocket change to pay for a cup of coffee, and you come across a penny. You think, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. What if I told you that a little 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a staggering $1 million? That's right, a penny. Worth more than your dream house. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Stick around because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and I'll explain exactly why this unassuming little coin could turn your loose change into life-changing money. Let's break it down. First, what makes the 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? The D stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. While most pennies from 1985 are worth, well, a penny, this one is different. There's a rare error that makes it incredibly valuable. Coin enthusiasts call it a double die error. Basically, the design on the coin, like Lincoln's profile or the lettering, was stamped twice, but slightly off-center, creating a doubling effect. It's like the coin had a little too much coffee and couldn't sit still. Now, not every 1985D penny has this error. In fact, it's so rare that finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, who says haystack hunting isn't fun? Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at my grandma's house helping her clean out some old jars of coins. You know the ones, big glass jars filled to the brim with decades of forgotten change. I'm sifting through, half bored, when I spot a 1985 penny. My heart skips a beat. Could this be the one? I grab my magnifying glass, inspect it, and nope, just a regular old penny. But for a moment, I felt like Indiana Jones on the verge of discovering ancient treasure. So, why is this coin worth so much? Beyond the error itself, it's about supply and demand. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for unique finds, and when something this rare hits the market, the price skyrockets. In fact, the last time one of these coins sold, it fetched close to $1 million at auction. Imagine what you could do with that kind of money: pay off debt, travel the world, buy a yacht, and name it Lucky Penny. Here's the thing, though. If you want to hunt for this elusive penny, you've got to know what to look for. The doubling is usually visible on the date, the word liberty, or the phrase "in God we trust." So grab a magnifying glass, and don't be afraid to look a little crazy squinting at your spare change in public. Who cares if people stare? You might be holding $1 million jackpot. All right, folks, here's your homework. Check your pocket change, dig through those old coin jars, and take a closer look at every 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny you come across. Remember, treasure is often hidden in plain sight, and who knows? You could be the next person to strike it rich with a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. And hey, if you found this video helpful or just enjoy the thrill of the hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you turn pocket change into big bucks. Smash that like button, share this video with your fellow treasure hunters, and let's keep the dream alive. Alright, coin collectors and casual penny hoarders, let me hit you with this. What if I told you that a penny, yes, a single copper-coated penny, could be worth $1 million today? Crazy, right? But that's exactly the story behind the 1984 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. So, grab your loose change and start digging through those couch cushions, because by the end of this video, you might just strike gold, or, well, copper. Stick around because I'm not only going to tell you why this little coin is worth so much, but also how to check if you have one of these tiny treasures. Oh, and spoiler alert, I'll share a quick story about how I almost missed out on my own coin jackpot. Let's dive in. What's the deal with the 1984 D penny? So, what makes the 1984 D penny worth $1 million? It's all about rarity and error. Back in 1984, at the Denver Mint, a small number of pennies were struck with a unique doubling error on the reverse. This is what collectors call a double die reverse, where the design on the back looks like it's been printed twice. Imagine Lincoln's memorial looking like it had one too many cups of coffee, shaky and doubled. Now, most people didn't notice these tiny flaws at first because, well, it's a penny. Who's inspecting those, right? But years later, collectors started paying big bucks for these errors because they're rare. And in the world of coins, rarity equals cha-ching. Here's the kicker. This penny isn't just rare, it's in demand. The coin collecting world, or as I like to call it, the Nerd Olympics, is full of people willing to shell out massive amounts of money for these one-of-a-kind finds. The $1 million price tag is for a coin in pristine condition, what the pros call a mess, 67 red. Basically, it's gotta look like it just rolled off the mint press yesterday. But even if yours isn't in mint condition, it could still be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So don't toss it back in the penny jar just yet. Look for the D mint mark just below the year. Flip the penny over and inspect the Lincoln Memorial with a magnifying glass. If you see doubling, kind of like a shadow effect on the letters or the columns, bingo! You might have hit the jackpot. And if you don't have a magnifying glass, just borrow your grandma's reading glasses. Trust me, she won't mind when you tell her you're trying to make $1 million. Quick story time. Last year, I was helping my dad clean out his old toolbox. Amongst the rusty screws and dried-up superglue, we found a jar of pennies. I almost dumped the whole thing into a Coinstar machine when one penny caught my eye. It had the D mint mark and, wait for it, doubling on the reverse. My heart skipped a beat. Long story short, it wasn't the $1 million penny, but I did sell it for $300. That's a decent steak dinner for a penny I almost tossed. The 1984 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the smallest things can pack the biggest punch. If you've got one lying around, you could be sitting on a fortune. And even if you don't, who knows what other treasures are hiding in your pocket change? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss my next video where I uncover another coin you might already own that's worth big bucks. Now, go check your pennies, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep collecting, keep smiling, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next coin millionaire. Have you ever rummaged through your couch cushions, or maybe that jar of change on your dresser, hoping to find a hidden treasure? Well, what if I told you that one little penny could be worth more than your car, your rent for the year, or even, brace yourself, a cool $1.3 million? Yeah, I'm talking about the 1990, no mint mark, Abraham Lincoln penny. If you don't know about this coin yet, buckle up because you might want to start examining every penny you come across. And trust me, after this video, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. So, let's dive in. What makes this tiny piece of copper, or rather, mostly zinc, so special? First, it's not just any 1990 penny. This one was accidentally minted without the little S mint mark that should appear just under the date. That tiny missing detail turned this penny from pocket change into a collector's holy grail. To give you an idea of its rarity, finding one is like stumbling across a winning lottery ticket tucked in an old pair of jeans. Now, here's the kicker. This isn't just a theoretical treasure. Back in 2019, one of these rare pennies sold at auction for $1.3 million. That's right. Someone cashed in a penny for more money than most people make in a decade. Can you imagine? I mean, the last time I got excited about a penny was when I used one to scratch a lottery ticket. Spoiler alert, I didn't win. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does a penny even end up without a mint mark? It's all about human error, folks. In the San Francisco Mint, where these coins were produced, the dies are supposed to have the mint mark engraved before they stamp the coins. But every once in a while, someone slips up and a batch of coins gets pressed without it. Most of these mistakes get caught, but some manage to escape into circulation, and that's where the magic happens. Okay, now let me hit you with a little personal story. A few years ago, I got into coin collecting. Not seriously, just dabbling, you know? One day, I was at a flea market, and this guy had a whole table of coins. I remember seeing a jar labeled, rare coins, $5 each. I laughed to myself because most of them looked like they'd been pulled out of a parking lot. But now, every time I think about that jar, I can't help but wonder, what if there was a 1990 no mint mark penny just sitting there, waiting for someone with sharper eyes? Moral of the story? Always check the coins you come across. You never know. Oh, and if you're already running to grab your penny jar, let me give you a quick tip. To identify this penny, you'll need a magnifying glass or even just a phone camera with good zoom. Look for the date, 1990, and then check underneath it. If there's no little S there, you might be holding something that's worth more than your entire wardrobe. So, there you have it, the story of a humble penny that could change your life, literally. If this doesn't inspire you to start inspecting your change, I don't know what will. And hey, if you do find one of these bad boys, promise me one thing. Give me a shout out when you're on the news cashing it in. Before you run off to dig through your piggy banks and couch cushions, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Here on this channel, we talk all about coins, collectibles, and strategies for turning forgotten treasures into cold hard cash. Like this video, leave a comment about your favorite coin find or your biggest what if moment, and share it with someone who needs a little motivation to start checking their spare change. Who knows? You might just help them strike it rich. Or maybe you're just someone who's wondering if that jar of pennies on your dresser could secretly fund your next dream vacation. Well, let me tell you, it just might. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking finds in modern coin collecting history. The 2017 D. Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, a penny. A coin worth just 1 cent that somehow skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping $1.4 million on the market today. That's right, folks. A single coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a fancy car, and still leave you enough change for a lifetime supply of tacos. So, grab your magnifying glass, maybe a cup of coffee, and let's get to the bottom of why this humble penny is causing such a stir. Spoiler alert, you might have one in your pocket right now. First, let's talk about what makes the 2017 D. Lincoln penny so special. For starters, the D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular coin was struck. Now, most pennies from the Denver Mint are perfectly ordinary, but every so often, something goes a little off. And that's where things get interesting. The 2017 D penny that's worth $1.4 million isn't just any penny. It's a rare error coin. Imagine the coin equivalent of a unicorn sighting. Except this unicorn has a manufacturing defect that collectors are absolutely obsessed with. The error involves a unique double die strike on Lincoln's face, which gives Honest Abe a slightly melty appearance. It's like he's halfway between delivering the Gettysburg Address and melting in the summer sun. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some spare change, just mindlessly sorting coins while watching TV. My plan was to roll them up and deposit them at the bank. But then I remembered a friend of mine who always checks her coins because you never know when you'll hit the jackpot. I thought she was overreacting, but I decided to give it a shot. I grabbed a magnifying glass, squinted at a few coins, and bam, found nothing. That's right, absolutely nothing. But that moment planted a seed, and I started to look at coins differently. One day, that habit might pay off, literally. That's the thing about coin collecting. You never know when you're holding history in your hands. Now, back to the 2017 D penny. Why is it worth so much? It's all about demand. Coin collectors are like treasure hunters. They'll pay top dollar, or in this case, top million, for rare finds. Combine rarity, a striking error, and a little bit of hype, and boom, you've got yourself $1 million penny. Here's the kicker. These coins weren't minted all that long ago. This isn't some ancient artifact buried in a pharaoh's tomb. It's a 2017 penny, which means there's a good chance you could find one hiding in your pocket change, a jar of coins, or even the dusty corners of your car's cup holder. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, how do I check if I have one of these golden, well, copper, tickets? Start by looking for the 2017 date and the D mint mark. Then, examine Lincoln's face closely. If it looks a bit off, like he's been warped by a funhouse mirror, you might be sitting on a small fortune, so what are you waiting for? Start digging through that spare change, your junk drawer, and even your couch cushions. Who knows, you might find a 2017 D penny that could change your life. And hey, if you're into stories like this or want to learn more tips for spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button. Join our growing community of treasure hunters who know that sometimes the smallest things can bring the biggest rewards. Oh, and don't forget to leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. It's always fun hearing about those lucky discoveries. Have you ever casually emptied your pockets, glanced at a penny, and thought, this little guy is practically worthless? Well, think again. Because if you stumble across the right penny, specifically the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just be staring at a whopping $1.5 million in cold, hard cash. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. So, before you toss that change into a jar or spend it on gum, stick around because I'm about to tell you what makes this coin worth more than a Lamborghini. Okay, first, let's break this down. The 1988 Lincoln penny we're talking about isn't just your average coin. It's a rare die variety, meaning there's a mistake in the way the coin was made. And as we all know, collectors love mistakes, especially the ones they don't have to make themselves. Now, here's the juicy part. Most 1988 pennies have a little mint mark under the date, a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But this one, it's naked. No mint mark. Nada. Why? Because it was accidentally struck with a die intended for proof coins, which weren't supposed to be used on regular circulating pennies. It's like the coin version of an A-list celebrity showing up at a dive bar. Weird, but awesome. Now let me share a quick story. A few months ago, I was helping my cousin clean out an old coin jar. You know, the one every family has where pennies go to die. I wasn't expecting much, maybe a few wheat pennies if I got lucky. But then, I spotted this odd-looking 1988 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Could I be holding a $1.5 million jackpot in my sweaty little hand? Spoiler, it wasn't. But hey, it got me digging deeper into the world of rare coins, and that's how I discovered this wild story. So, how do you know if you've got the real deal? First, check the back of the coin. If the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial look slightly off, specifically, if they match the style used on proof coins, you might be holding a fortune. But before you start planning your dream vacation, get the coin authenticated by a professional grading service. Trust me, your bank teller won't believe you if you just stroll in asking for $1.50 million. Here's another fun fact. The current record price for this penny is $1.5 million. That's right, someone actually paid that much for a 1-cent piece. To put that in perspective, that's enough to buy a luxury yacht, a small house, or approximately 150 million other pennies. So, the next time you're digging through your pocket change or that neglected coin jar, don't just brush off those pennies. Take a closer look. That tiny copper coin might just change your life, literally, and hey, if you're as fascinated by rare coins and hidden treasures as I am, why not join our community? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I've got tons more tips on coins worth money, strategies to maximize your finds, and stories that'll make you see pocket change in a whole new light. Who knows? The next big discovery might be hiding right in your pocket. All right, folks, imagine this. You're fumbling around your car cup holder or maybe digging through the couch cushions, and out comes a penny. A penny, right? Just a tiny little 1-cent coin. But what if I told you that one specific penny could actually be worth $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me, million. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing money. Today, we're diving into the story of the 2018 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that looks so ordinary it might just be hiding in plain sight. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, yeah, right, another wild internet story, let me break it down for you. Because trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be sprinting to your coin jar faster than my grandma chasing after a BOGO coupon. Okay, so let's get to the juicy details. First off, what makes this particular penny so special? It's a 2018 D penny featuring our favorite guy, Abraham Lincoln, and the iconic Denver mint mark, a little D tucked just below the date. But what sets this coin apart isn't just its age or mint mark. It's a crazy minting error. In this case, we're talking about an incredibly rare double die error. Picture this. The design on the coin looks like it's got a shadow, almost like it went through the stamping process twice but slightly misaligned. This error happened during the minting process, making the coin a 1 in a million find, literally. And collectors? Oh, they go absolutely bananas over this stuff. Now, here's where the $1.6 million price tag comes in. One of these coins, in pristine condition, sold for that jaw-dropping amount at auction. But even if yours isn't mint state quality, similar coins can still fetch tens of thousands of dollars. That's a lot of tacos for a single penny. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, that magical abyss where batteries, tape, and random pennies live. I found a handful of coins and thought, meh, nothing special here. But then, I remembered a story like this one. So, I grabbed a magnifying glass. You can't trust my eyesight after binge-watching Netflix, and started checking each penny like I was auditioning for CSI, Coin Division. I didn't find the $1 million penny, but I did find one worth $10. $10 for a penny. That's a 1,000% return on investment, people. It's like hitting the jackpot without even buying a ticket. All right, now you're probably wondering, how do I find one of these gems? Start by grabbing a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date and lettering for any doubling. If the numbers or letters seem blurry or have a slight shadow effect, you might be holding a treasure. And don't forget to check for that little D under the date. That's your golden ticket. Always inspect your change from fast food places and vending machines. Those coins circulate for years, and you never know what might turn up. So, there you have it. The story of how a humble little penny could make you a millionaire. Pretty wild, right? Now, if this doesn't inspire you to dig through your couch cushions, I don't know what will. If you want to learn more about coins worth crazy money and strategies to find them, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, don't miss out. This channel is your ticket to turning spare change into a fortune. Oh, and give this video a thumbs up while you're at it. Who knows, maybe next time, we'll be talking about your coin story. We're diving into the fascinating story of the 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Why is it worth more than a house? What makes it so special? And could you have one hiding in your pocket right now? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your coins like a pro. Alright, first, let's talk about the basics. What's the deal with the 2000 no-mint mark penny? Well, this isn't just your ordinary copper-colored coin. Most pennies minted in 2000 have a small letter D or P indicating where they were made, Denver or Philadelphia. But the no-mint mark version? It's rare, and I mean super rare. We're talking lottery odds rare, but hey, someone's gotta win the lottery, right? The story goes that a small batch of these coins was accidentally struck without the mint mark. These coins somehow escaped into circulation, and collectors have been losing their minds over them ever since. One of these pennies recently sold for, you guessed it, a whopping $1.7 million. Why? It's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Oh, and let's not forget the bragging rights. Owning this penny is like owning a piece of history. Now, let me get a little personal. A few years ago, I decided to sort through a jar of coins my grandma gave me. I was hoping to find something cool, maybe an old wheat penny. What I didn't expect was to become obsessed with looking for rare coins. I didn't find a 2000 no-mint mark penny, but I did stumble on a 1943 steel penny worth a couple of $100. Not $1.7 million, but hey, I'll take it. And now, every time I see a penny, I can't help but flip it over and check so. How can you tell if you've struck gold or copper in this case? First, grab a magnifying glass. Check the front of your penny, just below the date. If there's no mint mark, congratulations, you might be onto something. But don't get too excited yet. Condition matters. If your penny looks like it went through the garbage disposal, it's probably not worth millions. However, if it's in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a fortune. Here's a pro tip. If you think you've found one, don't clean it. Seriously, don't even think about scrubbing it. Coin collectors want the natural patina intact, so cleaning it can actually reduce its value. Instead, take it to a trusted coin dealer or have it professionally graded. And who knows? That penny could change your life. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things can be worth the most. Now, here's your homework. Dig through your couch cushions, raid your old piggy bank, and check every penny you come across. Who knows? Maybe you're sitting on your own million-dollar treasure. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, money-making strategies, and crazy stories like this one. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Hey, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and folks who just can't resist digging through their spare change. You're grabbing a coffee, casually fishing out some coins from your pocket, and bam, you spot something shiny, ordinary, and yet, it could be worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yup, you heard that right. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 2020 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the kind of coin you've probably tossed in a vending machine or let fall between couch cushions? Well, spoiler alert, it might just be your golden ticket. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how this humble penny could change your life. And trust me, you don't want to miss my embarrassing story about how I almost spent one of these. Alright, let's get into it. First, what's the deal with this 2020 D penny? The D stands for Denver, where this particular batch of pennies was minted. At first glance, it looks just like any other Lincoln penny you've seen a million times before. Same familiar face of Honest Abe, same coppery shine. But here's the twist. A very rare error makes this coin incredibly valuable. We're talking about a die clash. Basically, during production, the coin dies, the metal stamps that imprint the design, misaligned, creating a unique and rare pattern on the coin. Think of it as the coin equivalent of a factory defect in a luxury car. It makes it an instant collector's item. Only a handful of these pennies were ever released into circulation, and that's what drives the insane price tag. Now, $1.8 million is the upper end of what once sold for at auction. But even if yours isn't in mint condition, you could still rake in thousands. Yeah, thousands for a penny. Let that sink in.so. How do you know if you've got the jackpot coin? First, check the year, 2020. Then, look for that little D mint mark just below the date. If you spot it, examine the surface for unusual patterns or markings. It might be worth getting a magnifying glass, or better yet, take it to a professional coin appraiser. Now, here's where I messed up. A couple of years ago, I found a shiny penny while cleaning out my car. It had a strange marking, but I thought, it's just a penny. So what did I do? I tossed it into the tip jar at my local coffee shop. Fast forward a week, I'm scrolling through a coin collector's forum, and boom, there it was, a 2020 D penny, just like mine, going for over $1 million. You can bet I sprinted back to that coffee shop, but of course, it was long gone. Lesson learned. Always double-check your change.so. What's the takeaway here? Don't underestimate the power of pocket change. That humble penny could be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least to paying off your car loan. Start checking your coins, folks. It's like a treasure hunt, except the treasure is real, and it's hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, learning strategies to make money with collectibles, or just hearing about my dumb mistakes, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any future coin-related gold mines. Who knows? The next video might just help you find a quarter worth more than your rent. We're diving into something that might make you take another look at that loose change you've got lying around. Buckle up, because we're talking about a 2017 P. Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny. One of those little copper coins you might have thrown in a jar or, let's be real, left at the bottom of your couch cushions. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. This is not some fairy tale coin we're talking about. Stick around to find out why this penny could be hiding a treasure worth way more than your lunch money. Alright, let's set the stage. The year is 2017, and the US Mint decided to do something a little different with the penny that year. They stamped a special P mint mark for the first time ever on a Lincoln cent. Before that, it was just D for Denver and S for San Francisco, but 2017 rolled around and they added P for Philadelphia. Now, at first, you might think, big deal. It's just a letter on a coin. Well, that tiny P caused a huge stir in the coin world, and here's why. You see, in 2017, the Mint produced a batch of these pennies with the P mint mark, but here's where it gets juicy. A lot of them were accidentally minted without it. That's right, a bunch of these pennies rolled off the press missing the P. And as we know in the coin world, anything that's rare, especially when it's supposed to be there but isn't, can be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. The error is super rare, and it has collectors chomping at the bit. Now, most of us know that the value of coins is often tied to rarity, condition, and historical significance. And while the 2017 P. Lincoln penny wasn't exactly a rare coin when it first came out, this little minting mistake made all the difference. Suddenly, these missing P coins started popping up on the radar of collectors, and the bidding war began. Let me tell you, I had no idea that something as simple as a tiny letter could have this much impact. I remember when I first found out about the 2017 P penny, and I was like, wait, you mean to tell me my pocket change could be worth what? I even went on a wild hunt through my coin jar. Spoiler alert. I didn't find one, but I definitely gave my back a workout. So, if you're one of the lucky ones who stumbled upon one of these 2017 P pennies, congrats. You've got yourself something that could fetch upwards of $1 million. But hold on. Before you start pulling out all your pennies, let's talk about what makes this coin so valuable. It's not just any 2017 penny. It has to be that rare P error. And while most 2017 pennies you'll come across are probably normal, unremarkable coins, a few of these error coins have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. Some of these error pennies have been auctioned off for prices reaching into the thousands, and even more astonishing, there are rumors of collectors bidding up to $1 million for a mint condition, error-free version of the 2017 P penny. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Here's the thing. It's all about the mint mark. The mint mark is usually placed on the obverse side of the coin, where you'll see Abraham Lincoln's face. If you spot a P mint mark, congratulations. But remember, there are two important things to note. First, the coin must be a 2017 penny, and second, if you find one that's missing the P, then you might have a rare error coin on your hands. The condition of the coin is also key, so keep an eye on those details. Now, I know we're all hoping to strike it rich, but don't go emptying your couch cushions just yet. These rare 2017 P error pennies are out there, but they're incredibly hard to find. But hey, just because you don't find one doesn't mean you're out of luck. Coin collecting can still be super fun, and there are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered, so what should you do next? Keep an eye out for those rare mint marks, check your change like a hawk, and maybe even dive into the exciting world of coin collecting. Who knows? Your next trip to the bank could turn up something amazing. And if you're enjoying these tips and want to learn more about rare coins, like how to spot them and what they're worth, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got more tips and coin strategies coming your way that could help you turn those pennies into a fortune. So, before you toss another coin into that jar or let your loose change disappear into the void of your couch, remember, there's treasure in the small stuff. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? Your next coin might just be the one that's worth $1 million. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coins and other hidden treasures. Have you ever looked at your pocket change and wondered if you were sitting on a small fortune? Well, I've got some exciting news for you today. If you've got a 2003 penny without a mint mark, you might want to grab that magnifying glass and start inspecting. It could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Stick around, because I'm about to break down how this little coin turned into a big-ticket item and why you should start digging through your piggy bank today. Let me set the stage for you. You're rummaging through your jar of loose change, looking for a penny to toss in a wishing well or use to level out a wobbly table. But wait, what's this? A 2003 penny that's missing the mint mark? It looks just like any other penny, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. You see, pennies from 2003 were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them have the D mint mark on the reverse side, which indicates they were made in Denver. But there's a rare anomaly. A small number of 2003 pennies were minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark. And these little guys have some serious value in today's market. We're talking about a potential $1.7 million, folks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, a penny is worth a lot more than its face value, but $1.7 million for one coin? That's a stretch. But here's the thing. This 2003 penny is rare. Out of the billions of pennies that were produced that year, only a tiny fraction were minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark. So, what does rarity equal in the coin world? That's right, big bucks in 2018. One of these pennies sold for $1.7 million at auction. The buyer probably did a little victory dance after the auction ended. I mean, can you imagine? It's not every day you find something like that in your change jar, right? Let me tell you a quick story about my own coin collecting journey. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, the kind where you find random knickknacks, a few old records, and maybe a 90s Beanie Baby that's lost all its value. But there it was, a small, dusty box full of coins. I thought, hey, I'm not going to pass up a chance to score a rare coin. I bought the whole box for a few bucks. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I started sorting through the coins. Nothing too special, until I found an old 1943 steel penny. Turns out, that penny could have been worth a lot of money, but of course I didn't know about it at the time. I didn't even bother to look it up. Lesson learned, right? The point is, sometimes the treasure is hiding in plain sight. And with the 2003 penny, you might be looking at something really valuable without even knowing it. You're probably wondering, why is this penny worth so much? Well, it's all about the rarity and the fact that this specific 2003 penny was never meant to be released into circulation without a mint mark. People who collect coins often focus on these rare, unexpected errors, especially when the error involves something as small and unassuming as a missing mint mark. If you're wondering whether your penny could be one of the lucky few, check the reverse side of your 2003 penny. If it's missing the D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, then you could be in for a big surprise. However, I'm not saying you're guaranteed to strike it rich. It's not every day you come across a $1.7 million coin, but it doesn't hurt to check, right? So, the next time you find a penny lying on the ground or floating around in your couch cushions, don't just toss it aside. It could be worth more than just 1 cent. And hey, if you happen to find a 2003 penny without a mint mark, maybe it's time to call up a coin expert and start thinking about what you'll do with all that cash. If you enjoyed learning about this little treasure, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips and strategies for finding valuable coins hiding in your everyday change. You don't want to miss out on learning how to spot other rare coins worth serious money. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? Maybe the next big find is sitting right in your pocket. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine finding a coin that could be worth more than your car, or even your house. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a little penny that could make you rich. Yup, you heard me right. This isn't just any old penny. I'm talking about the 1952 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and if you have one, you might want to sit down. It's worth up to $1.8 million. Stick around to find out how this tiny coin could be the treasure you didn't know you were sitting on. Alright, so let's break this down. You might be thinking, it's just a penny. What's so special about that? Well, my friend, this is one of those moments when a little bit of history, some rare minting errors, and pure good luck collide into a jackpot of epic proportions. The 1952 penny was minted in San Francisco, and typically, these pennies are worth just 1 cent. Duh, right? But there's something about certain 1952 pennies that makes them really stand out from the crowd. You see, the ones that are worth a ton of money are those with minting mistakes, also known as errors. One of the rarest types is the double die error. This means that the coin was struck twice during the minting process, resulting in a blurry, double image on the coin. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world do I even know if I have one of these rare pennies? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. Look closely at the letters, numbers, and the image of Abe Lincoln. If you notice a blurry or doubled image, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Seriously, the value of these error pennies can range anywhere from a couple $100 all the way up to $1.8 million, depending on the condition and the error. That's right, $1.80 million. Let me share a story with you. So, I once found a coin in my grandfather's old coin jar. It was a little tarnished, a little scratched up, but I thought, hey, it's a penny. I'll toss it in my pocket. Big mistake. I later realized that penny was from the 1940s, and in good condition, it could have been worth more than $50. A rookie mistake, right? That's when I started paying more attention to details. It's all about doing a little research and knowing what to look for. Now, you don't have to go digging through every penny in your collection, hoping for a lucky find. There are a few tricks that can help you speed up the process. First, check the mint mark. That tiny little S on the 1952 penny is your clue. Second, don't just focus on one coin. Check out other coins from the same year. You might find a similar rare error. And third, condition is key. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it is. Coins that are shiny, well-preserved, and show minimal wear tend to fetch higher prices. But hey, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so I've got a 1952 penny. Now what? Well, the next step is to take a closer look at the market. The rare error pennies are often sold at auction, and some people have made hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. If you have one of these error coins, you're going to want to have it appraised by a professional. And no, your buddy Dave who collects coins isn't a professional. Sorry, Dave. So, what can we take away from all this? If you have a 1952 penny, it's time to start checking for those rare errors. Whether it's a double die or another type of minting mistake, there's a chance you could be holding onto a fortune. But here's the thing, don't just take my word for it. Get that penny checked out and see if it's worth more than your car payments. And hey, if it's not worth much, At least you've learned a little something about the crazy world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks on how to find coins worth money, make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on the next big find. And who knows, maybe your next treasure hunt is just one penny away. We're diving into a wild story about a coin that could make you $1.9 million richer. Yes, you heard that right, $1.9 million. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. It's all about the 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you might just go rummaging through your couch cushions. So, here's the deal. Most of us probably don't give a second thought to pennies, right? They're the smallest, most ignored coin in our wallets, just hanging out at the bottom of our pockets, waiting to be forgotten. But, as I'm sure you've heard, some coins are more valuable than they appear, and some have crazy rare flaws that can send their price soaring. And that, my friends, brings us to the legendary 1978 penny with no mint mark. Now, if you're wondering, what the heck is a mint mark? Don't worry, I've got you. The mint mark is that little letter on most coins that tells you where the coin was made. Most pennies will either have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a 1978 penny with no mint mark? Well, that's what makes this one so rare and valuable. You see, the story goes that in 1978, some pennies were accidentally struck without the mint mark, and boom, we have a coin that wasn't supposed to exist. And now, thanks to that tiny, almost invisible mistake, some lucky collectors are paying big bucks for this particular penny. We're talking about values that can reach up to $1.9 million. Yep, you could buy a small island with that kind of cash or, a lot of pizza. You might be asking yourself, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? Well, let me give you the rundown. First, check the date. 1978 is the key. Next, flip that penny over and look for the absence of the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you could be holding onto something special. But let's be real for a second. Finding one of these is like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, it could happen, and if it does, get ready for your retirement fund to thank you. Now, let's take a step back and put this into perspective. Imagine you're going through some old coins you found in your grandparents' attic. You stumble upon a 1978 penny, and you think, just a penny. No big deal. You toss it into a jar full of other random coins, right? Wrong. That penny could be your ticket to the big time. And believe me, I've been there. I remember going through a jar of change once, and instead of finding $1 million coin, I found a handful of expired parking meter tokens. Not quite as lucrative, but hey, I was hopeful for a moment, so what's the takeaway here? Coin collecting is a bit of a treasure hunt, and you never know when you might stumble upon a golden nugget. Literally, the 1978 penny with no mint mark is just one example of how a little mistake can turn into a massive payday. And while it might be a long shot to find one, it's always worth checking your change. And if you enjoyed learning about this rare penny and want to hear more tips on coins that could be worth a small fortune, make sure to subscribe. You never know when the next coin could be worth big money. You'll get all the latest coin news, tips, and strategies right here. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your own coin hunting adventure. Who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth $1 million. And hey, if you do find one, don't forget to come back here and tell me about it. Have you ever rummaged through your spare change and thought, what if I found a coin worth a fortune? Well, today I'm going to tell you about a coin that's probably hiding in your pocket right now, the 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little penny could be worth up to $1 million. Yep, you heard me right. So, grab your magnifying glasses and let's dive into this wild world of coin treasures. You're probably sitting there thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? Am I dreaming? Well, let me assure you, this isn't a joke. The 1982 D penny could very well be the jackpot of your change jar. But wait, don't start tossing your pennies around just yet. There's a little more to it than just any old 1982 penny. First, let's talk about why this penny is so special. The 1982 D penny is a rare variety of the penny that was accidentally minted with the wrong kind of metal. You see, the U.S. Mint switched from copper to zinc for pennies in 1982, but some pennies were accidentally made with the copper composition. This means that not all 1982 pennies are created equal. Some are made of copper, and some are made of zinc. And the copper ones, especially those with the D mint mark, are the ones you want to keep your eye on. Now, here's where the magic happens. A rare batch of these 1982 D copper pennies ended up being worth more than their face value. How much more? Well, depending on the condition and rarity, they can fetch a staggering $1 million. Yep, you could literally find a coin worth more than your car, your house, or that fancy espresso machine you've been eyeing. But how can I tell if I have one of these $1 million pennies? You might be asking. Great question. First off, you need to look for that D mint mark. It's located just beneath Lincoln's shoulder on the front of the coin. If the mint mark is there, you're halfway to a fortune. Next, you want to check the weight and composition. The 1982 D copper pennies have a heavier, more solid feel compared to their zinc counterparts. If you have a scale, weigh it. A copper penny will weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc ones are around 2.5 grams. If you don't have a scale, no worries. Sometimes, you can tell just by holding the coin and feeling the difference. But let's be honest, if you're really committed to finding a winner, get yourself a scale. Now, I know some of you are probably saying, okay, but how do I find one of these $1 million coins? Well, let me tell you a little story about my own coin hunting adventure. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, just casually looking through some old books and knickknacks. I stumbled upon a box of loose change. Nothing special, just a bunch of pennies, nickels, and dimes. But I couldn't resist. I started flipping through the pennies, checking the dates and mint marks. And guess what I found? A 1982 D penny. I thought, this is it. This could be my big break. But here's the thing. It wasn't a copper one. It was a zinc penny, and even though I was a little disappointed, I held on to it because you never know. Fast forward to a few months later, and I found myself diving into a massive penny haul from an estate sale. I sifted through the pile like a treasure hunter on a mission, and that's when I found it. Another 1982 D penny. This time, it was the copper version, and it was in pretty decent condition. I couldn't believe it. Of course, I still had to get it verified and appraised, but that moment felt like I was on the verge of winning the coin lottery. Now, I didn't walk away with a cool million, yet, but the experience taught me something. It's not always about finding a treasure instantly, but knowing what to look for that counts. And that, my friend, is what's going to make you a coin hunting pro. So, now you know the secret to finding a potential $1 million penny hiding in plain sight. It's all about the 1982 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny with that rare copper composition. But remember, it's not just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for and understanding the value of these unique coins. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you found any rare coins in your change? Or maybe you have a collection of pennies sitting around waiting to be worth a fortune. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you want more tips on how to find coins worth money, strategies for spotting hidden gems, or just some good old coin hunting fun, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming up next. Until then, keep searching those pockets and change jars. You never know when a penny might turn into $1 million. All right, hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and hilarious coin stories, and let's keep this treasure hunt going. Who knows? Your next penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. You ever find a penny on the ground and think, it's just a penny, and walk on by? Well, what if I told you that one single penny could be worth a staggering $1.5 million? No joke. This isn't some rare, ancient gold coin or some wild treasure buried in the backyard. It's a 2015 Abraham Lincoln penny, but with a twist. And trust me, this story is wild. Stick around because I'm going to explain exactly why this particular penny could be your ticket to riches. If you've ever picked up a penny and thought, this thing's worth more than face value, this is the video for you. All right, let's dive into it. Most of us have probably seen a 2015 Lincoln penny. It's got Honest Abe's face, the memorial building on the back, and a mint mark that says D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But what if I told you there's a version of the 2015 penny that doesn't have a mint mark at all? Here's where it gets interesting and a little bit mysterious. See, most pennies are minted at either the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint. That D or P tells you where it came from. But in 2015, there was a weird glitch. A small batch of pennies was made in Philadelphia without any mint mark at all. And guess what? That tiny error has made these pennies worth way more than the 1 cent you'd expect. In fact, one of them recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. Now, you might be thinking, how could a penny, of all things, be worth that much? Great question. Let me tell you a little secret about coin collecting. The world of numismatics is full of surprises. A small mistake, like missing a mint mark, can turn an otherwise common coin into a highly sought-after treasure. This penny wasn't just rare because of the missing mint mark. It was also in mint condition, like, it was practically flawless. Coin collectors go nuts for rare errors, and when it's in perfect condition, well, that's when the big bucks start rolling in. I've probably got one of these in my pocket right now. Well, maybe not. But here's how you can check. If you've got a 2015 penny and it's missing the mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Inspect it carefully. Is it shiny and pristine? Or is it a little worn down from years of bouncing around in your wallet? If it's in good condition and you've got that mint markless 2015, you could have a hidden treasure. Speaking of treasure, let me share a quick personal story. A few years ago, I found an old coin in a change jar that had been sitting in my kitchen for who knows how long. I was sure it was just a random coin, but I decided to give it a closer look, and boom! It wasn't just a regular coin. It was a rare 1969 penny with a double die error. I was totally shocked. I had no idea what it was worth at the time, but once I found out, I was doing some happy dances all over the house. That penny turned out to be worth about $500. It was a nice little surprise, and trust me, if I had just tossed it aside, I would have never known. So, check your pockets, your drawers, and your change jars. You never know when you'll find a gem. Coins with errors or rare qualities are out there, waiting for you to find them. And it's not just pennies that are valuable. You can find rare dimes, quarters, nickels, and even dollar coins that could be worth a pretty penny. If you want to stay ahead of the game and keep discovering coins that are actually worth more than you thought, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and tricks to share with you on how to spot valuable coins and strategies to build a solid coin collection. You don't want to miss out on that next big find. So, next time you see a penny on the ground, maybe take a second to give it a closer look. It could be the one that makes you rich, or, at the very least, gives you a great story to tell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more coin tips and treasure hunts. Did you know that a single penny, yes, a penny, could be worth a whopping $1.9 million? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunt movie, but it's true. We're talking about the 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And trust me, it's not your average pocket change. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this penny could be the golden ticket you didn't know you were holding. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions like a maniac, let me set the stage. We're diving into the world of rare coins, what makes this penny special, and how you might just find yourself with a small fortune without even knowing it. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about this 2017 D Mint Mark penny. You've probably come across a million of these over the years. Heck, you might even have a jar of them in the kitchen, right next to the dried-up batteries and expired coupons. But here's the kicker. Most of those pennies are worth, well, a penny. Some might be worth a little more if they're in great condition, but nothing that'll make you rich. However, the 2017 D penny, specifically the ones that are misstruck, have turned into a rare collectible that's gaining some serious attention. These pennies weren't made correctly during the minting process, and because of that, their value skyrocketed. Instead of being a perfect, shiny little copper coin, these pennies had an error. The design was off-center, creating a one-of-a-kind look. It's like if your favorite pizza got cooked on the edge of the oven and half of it was extra crispy. Not everyone would want it, but for some, it's exactly what they're looking for. Now, here's where things get a little crazy. The value of one of these 2017 D pennies is not just a couple bucks. No, no, no. A specific example of this coin, sold through a private sale, went for $1.9 million. Yes, million. It's insane, right? And what's even crazier is that the coin in question had a really subtle error. It's not like it's some massive, glaring mistake. It's almost like a hidden treasure that only the sharpest eyes can spot. If you think about it, that penny you got from the cashier last week could be the next big thing. But here's the catch. You're probably not going to find one just sitting there, looking all glossy and perfect. You have to be sharp, and you need to know what to look for. A quick tip: check the mint mark. If it's a 2017 D, meaning it was minted in Denver, you might just be holding something special. This reminds me of a time when I was in college and I found a random coin in my pocket. It was this old, tarnished quarter, and I thought it was just some junk change. I was about to throw it into the vending machine when I noticed something strange. It had a little silver hue to it, and it was older than most quarters I'd seen. Fast forward, I did a little research, and guess what? It turned out to be a rare silver quarter, worth a few $100. Yeah, I sold it, and let me tell you, that college pizza fund never looked so good. Now, I'm not saying you'll find something like that every day, but it's always worth taking a closer look at your change. You never know when that penny or quarter is going to have some hidden value that'll pay for your next vacation or a giant pizza. So, to wrap it all up, if you happen to find a 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny that looks a little off-center or unusual, don't toss it away. It could be worth way more than you think. A simple mistake at the minting stage can make it a collector's dream, and that little penny could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. Now, I know it's not likely that we'll all be sitting on $1.9 million in pennies, but every collector knows finding rare coins is all about patience, luck, and a little bit of knowledge. So, make sure to give those pennies and coins a second glance before you spend them. And hey, if you want more tips and tricks on finding coins that are actually worth something, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified every time we drop a new video with tips to help you build your coin collection or, better yet, spot the next big winner. Did you know that a simple penny from 1967 could be worth more than a small car? I mean, we're talking about a coin that could potentially fetch $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a penny. But wait, how in the world does a regular, everyday penny end up being worth more than a new car? Stick around, and I'll break it down for you. You'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. All right, let's dive right into this mind-blowing piece of coin history. The 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now, we all know pennies, right? They're the little guys that nobody really cares about. They're the ones you throw in a jar at the end of the day. Or, if you're anything like me, the ones that mysteriously pile up in your couch cushions. But what if I told you that one specific 1967 penny, with no mint mark, could be worth a fortune? You see, normally, pennies have a mint mark, a small letter on the coin that tells you where it was made. There are 3 mints in the US that produce coins: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. But in 1967, something strange happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A bunch of pennies were produced without a mint mark. These pennies, often called no mint mark pennies, are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. The rarity and the mystery behind these coins make them valuable. How valuable? Well, there's one 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny that was recently valued at $1.5 million. Yup, you heard that correctly. Someone paid over $1 million for a penny that most of us would overlook. Pretty wild. Huh? How in the world do I know if I've got one of these bad boys in my collection? Good question. First off, check your pennies from 1967 carefully. Look at the back. Is there a mint mark? If not, congratulations. You've got a potential gold mine on your hands. But don't get too excited just yet, because there's more to it than just the lack of a mint mark. The coin's condition is a big factor in determining its value. If your penny is worn down, scratched up, or corroded by the harsh realities of life in your pocket, it's probably not going to fetch you millions. But if it's in great shape, say, a mint condition piece, it could definitely be worth some serious cash. Now, here's where it gets interesting. These pennies are also a bit of a mystery. No one's 100% sure how or why these coins slipped through the cracks without a mint mark, and that's what makes them so valuable. Coin collectors love a good mystery. It's like the Indiana Jones of the coin world, where every penny could potentially lead to an ancient treasure. And I gotta admit, I've had my own personal experience with finding rare coins, though, unfortunately, none were worth $1 million. A few years ago, I was sorting through a pile of old change from my grandpa's house. Among the usual mix of outdated dimes and quarters, I found a weird-looking 1943 copper penny. I got so excited because I thought I'd struck it rich. Turns out, it was a replica. Big bummer, but hey, at least I got a cool story out of it. So, how can you increase your chances of finding one of these hidden treasures? First, keep your eyes peeled. Check your pocket change, and when you visit yard sales, antique stores, or even your local coin shop, ask about rare finds. You never know when a penny could make you a millionaire. Alright, so there you have it. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a rare and valuable coin that could be worth up to $1.5 million. So, if you've got any 1967 pennies lying around, it's time to dig them out and check them over carefully. It might just be the treasure hunt you've been waiting for, and hey, if you're into coins, want more tips on finding valuable ones, or just love hearing crazy coin stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on any of our future coin tips, tricks, and treasure hunts. Who knows, your next video might just help you spot the next $1 million penny. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me if you've ever found anything rare in your change. Also, share this video with a friend. Maybe they've got a hidden treasure sitting in their couch cushions too.